Yo, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here to present you my NBA morning shoot around for Friday, December 6th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all my NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. If you haven't come and checked out on my website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and Draftkings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to come check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So we've got a solid 10-game slate today. We've been on a roll with the NBA. NFL has been absolutely crushing all season long. Right now is a perfect time to join the money team. Make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. And yeah, let's jump into today's slate. So we're going to kind of do this video as we do regularly. It's more of an overview. I'm going to give you my top 5 plays at each position, couple guys that pay up for, couple guys that we can look at value plays. And yeah, so let's go. So we'll start with the point guard spot. I think Damian Lillard at 9,400 going against the Lakers. This game should be a very competitive game. I definitely think that this is a pretty solid spot for Damian Lillard, and it's a pretty good price tag. He's a guy that I think he gives you a solid floor, and he's a guy that we can definitely consider paying up for tonight going against the Lakers. Like I said, man, Portland, they're trying to turn their season around. Lillard's playing pretty good. They got Carmelo Anthony now playing pretty good. McCollum's starting to pick it up. So I think this game should be very competitive. It should be a fun game to watch. Definitely like Damian Lillard. Then we'll go down. We'll go next with Spencer Dinwiddie at 8,500. Yes, the price tag is up, but the guy is giving you a solid floor. He's been on absolute tear with Kyrie out, with Zach LaVine. With Karis LeVert out. I think the Dinwiddie at 8,500, as long as he continues to start, then you can continue to look at him. The price tag is a little bit more than I would like to spend, but, the way he's been playing, I understand why the price tag's there. I definitely think that the floor is pretty solid for him. Moving down a little bit, 6,900 for Chris Paul. I just think this is too cheap of a price for Chris Paul. We're talking about Chris Paul. He's still playing pretty good, even though he's a little bit on the back end of his career. 6,900, but all you need is 34 for value. We got him projected for 41 going against a young Minnesota team. I think this is a great spot for Chris Paul. I think you could easily put him in your cash game lineup and feel pretty comfortable with it at this price tag. Couple guys that we could pay down for. First, we'll go with Ish Smith. Got the start yesterday with Isaiah Thomas being out. I think that today he'll get the start once again at 4,300. He played very well yesterday, even before Isaiah Thomas went out. When Ish Smith was coming off the bench, he was still getting consistent minutes, and he's been playing pretty well all season long at a 4,300 price tag. I think it's a pretty easy play if you want to save some value. Next, we will go with Patty Mills. Patty Mills been getting some extra run lately off the bench at a bare minimum price tag at 3,500. I think that you can, feel comfortable with him getting you right around 20 fantasy points in a competitive game against Sacramento. So yeah, I think that Patty Mills is a guy that we can definitely consider today as well. Moving on to the shooting guard spot, we'll start at the top. Bradley Beal going against Miami. Every game that Washington is competitive in, that has that they're in the game and not get blown out, is because Bradley Beal's having a really good game. Had another solid game yesterday against Philadelphia. Today gets the matchup against Miami. It is a little bit tougher matchup. He's going to be going against head-to-head with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's a pretty good defender. Nonetheless, Bradley Beal's doing a little bit of everything, and it's making him a viable option night in and night out. On the flip side of things, we'll talk about Jimmy Butler, 9,100, the best player on this Miami team. I think this is, Washington. I've been targeting Washington all year long. They don't play defense. They just run back and forth and try to outscore people. This is an up-tempo game. I think Jimmy Butler can have a good game here as well as Bradley Beal, kind of going head-to-head as the best two players on each team. I like both guys, definitely. I think that both are GPP plays. We'll throw that out there. Next, we'll go with Zach LaVine going against a Golden State Warrior team. The Golden State Warriors are looking like a G League team right now. The Bulls are not much better, but they got a guy in Zach LaVine who is a stud. He's playing very well. The guy's getting the ultimate green light. And the ball's in his hands a ton. I think this is a pretty good spot for Zach LaVine at 8,400. He is a GPP play, but I do like him. Then we got Buddy Hield. I think Buddy Hield's a guy that we could really look at going against San Antonio. With De'Aaron Fox being out, Buddy Hield has definitely stepped his game up and playing very, very well. He is a GPP player. I honestly think all these guys at the top that I've mentioned so far are GPP plays just because their price tags are a little bit higher than I really want them to be. But, I mean, you still got to look at them. You still got to consider them. At 8,000, they're all, playing pretty well right now as well. So Buddy Hield's another guy we can look at. Going more to the mid-tier, Jeremy Lamb in that start lineup for Indiana. The guy's giving you a floor of almost 30 a game. He's only 6,200. You need, 31 for value. I think he could easily get that for you, and the guy does have 40 fantasy point upside. He's a really, really good scorer. Plus, he gets in there and gets some rebounds as well. He's a good mid-tier play at 6,200, Jeremy Lamb. And if we want to save a little bit of money, I think a guy that we could consider – I think we can look at Danny Green at 3,700 for the Lakers. I mean, the minutes have been there. The production is definitely up and down, but at a 3,700 price tag, I mean, all we need is about 18, 19 for value. We got him projected at 18 points right now, which is almost 5 times value, and he can get you 25 fantasy points, which will be about 6x. So I think that he's a guy on the lower end in a competitive game against Portland. Portland has 2 really good guards in Lillard and McCollum. They're going to need Danny Green on the floor for his defense against the guards. So I think he may get a couple extra minutes as well. So Danny Green in the lower end of tier of shooting guards. Moving on, small forward. It's easy. I mean, anytime Antetokounmpo is on the slate, you got to consider him. And he's in a very competitive game against, some people are trying to say the Clippers are better than the Lakers and they're the top team in the West and the top team in the NBA overall. Antetokounmpo gets his team is easily the best team in the East. I think this could be a potential, NBA Finals matchup. He's going to wake up and really look forward to this matchup. And yes, he's going to have a Leonard, he's going to have a George on him, so it makes it a little bit tougher, and he's not a stone cold lock how he's been the past couple games. But, the guy, 70, 80 fantasy point upside is there for Antetokounmpo. So he's a GPP play for me, but I like him. LeBron James at 10.8. I think you can really consider him in cash games. The price tag is fair. You need about 52, 53 for value, and we got him projected right there at that. And then, like I said, Portland's been playing better. LeBron's going to be going head-to-head with his boy Melo. It's been all over ESPN. They're talking about it's a prime-time game. I think this is a spot LeBron James comes out, balls out, has a really good game. At 10.8, the price tag is down a little bit. I like him. Think he's a really good play. Paul George at 9,000. See, the thing about the Clippers is they got Paul George, they have Kawhi Leonard, they have Lou Williams, they have Montrezl Harrell. They got all these guys, so nobody's really standing out and having crazy games. They're all just kind of contributing in their own way. But I still think 9,000 for Paul George is a fair price tag. We got him projected at 42, which is about 4.65 value. You can't really go wrong with it. I think he's a little bit more of a GPP play. But, I like him. I think he is in play. This game should be, like I said, should be very competitive. Starters should play a bunch of minutes on both sides. Then we'll move down a little bit. You got Jonathan Isaac. His price tag has come down a little bit, but he's been playing pretty well. Gets a matchup against Cleveland, a really young team. I think that Orlando could win this game, fairly easily. I think this game is going to be a back and forth, up tempo game. A bunch of young guys on both sides running up and down the floor. Isaac, he's getting his minutes right now with Vucevic out. He's like their best player on the floor. It's Isaac and Fournier are the guys that they're really relying on with no Vucevic. And then they got Fultz and they're playing pretty good as well. But he's one of their top 2 main guys that they're looking to score the ball. He does a little bit of everything. 7,500. I think Jonathan Isaac is in play today. Moving down, we'll go a little bit more to the mid tier. You got Harrison Barnes at only 5,600 going against San Antonio. This is a solid spot for Harrison Barnes. He's a guy that he's not flashy. He's not going to get you 45 fantasy points, but he's going to get you 25, 30 fantasy points every single night, get you right around 5X, and you know that that's what he's going to do for you. So I think you can look at him in the mid-tier. I think he's a pretty good play. I think you can consider him in cash games to get you your 5X to kind of move on. Value play here, at the small four, I think that you can look at Josh Okogie. We got Wiggins is a game time decision right now. We got to kind of see what happens with that. Okogie's been getting some run as it is already, and then if Wiggins is out, I think that that'll be an uptick in minutes for him. With Wiggins being out. 3,800. I mean, it's almost a bare minimum price tag. You need 19 for value. We got him projected at 17 fantasy points. He could easily get you 25 fantasy points. Earlier in the year, got us a 30 piece when we played him. So the upside is there. We got to wait on that Wiggins news. Either way, he's in play. But if Wiggins out, I like him that much more. Anthony Davis, game time decision against Portland. I've been talking about this Lakers and Portland game. I like it. I think it's going to be a very competitive game. Anthony Davis has been a game time decision basically every single night this whole entire season. He's played every single game so far. 10.7. I think that you can look at Portland. I mean, they have Hassan Whiteside, but Whiteside's not going to be on Anthony Davis. Whiteside's going to have his hands full with McGee, with Howard, and they don't have another big that could really, kind of do it mess with Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis can have a really good game here. And like I said, it's going to be prime time. It's going to be competitive. Going to be going against Melo. I know that we're talking about Carmelo as, oh, it's Carmelo, and it's not even that Carmelo is the same guy he used to be, but I mean, it's been all over ESPN. They're looking forward to this game. Both sides. Anthony Davis firmly in play today. Kawhi Leonard, 9,400. We've seen Kawhi Leonard match up against Antetokounmpo last year, go in the Eastern Conference Finals, and Leonard absolutely dominated Milwaukee. I mean, this is a spot where he can have a good game. The difference is now he has Paul George, Lou Williams, Harold, Beverly, all those guys. So he doesn't have to do much. But, hey, he's a gamer. I think that today's going to come out, have a really good game. We got him projected at 48 fantasy points, 5.13 value, which is very, very good. Kawhi Leonard, I think he gives you a solid floor. I just don't know if the upside is there that we need for tournaments. Domantas Sabonis, he's a guy I've been playing since last year. Whenever he got the start, you would always put him in. The guy just fills up the stat sheet, double machine. This year, now he's the starter, and he's been playing very well, taking advantage of it. Gives you a really solid floor. We got him projected at almost 39 fantasy points, which is 4.5 times value. He definitely has 50 fantasy point upside. Gets a matchup against Blake Griffin today. I think that he can dominate Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin isn't the same guy that he used to be. Sabonis, I like him. I think he's a good play. Bam going against Washington in a very up-tempo game, running back and forth. Bam's a guy that, he's an athletic guy. He can run up and down the floor. He's a big guy, but he's not a guy that – he's not your typical big guy. He's an athlete. 7,800. I think this is a matchup he can really dominate. Washington is hurt right now. The guys that they're starting are undersized, and Bam, man, I like him. I think that he's a really good play at 7,800 today. Moving down, a couple guys that we can look at. We talked about Washington being pretty hurt. One guy that's really been stepping in a bigger role and been playing very well is Hachimura, 5,800, going against Miami. I think that yesterday he had a career game. I'm not really chasing that, but he's been playing pretty consistent all year long. As long as they're depleted with injuries, he's getting a boatload of minutes. He's in play at 5,800. I like him. I think it's a pretty good spot for him as well. Then we got one more guy that I want to look at. We're going to be looking at where is he at? Oh, PJ Washington for Charlotte at 5,500. Going against Brooklyn. I like targeting Brooklyn in an up-tempo game. Brooklyn games usually are pretty high scoring. And Charlotte's not a team that really is known for defense as well. So this game could be a track meet, up and down, back and forth. 5,500. I think that Washington is strictly a GPP play, but he does have a little bit of upside that you can consider for tournaments and probably will be low owned. Moving on to center. Karl Anthony Towns, a game time decision against OKC. I think that he is in play. If he plays, I think that this is a decent spot. It's a tough matchup going against Steven Adams. I understand, but Karl Anthony Towns shoots threes. He's not your typical just bang down low big man that Steven Adams could dominate. He is going to pull Steven Adams out of the paint, what makes him feel a little bit uncomfortable. Towns going against OKC, I think this is a pretty good spot. We got to wait and see what happens with the news. He is currently a game time decision. You got Andre Drummond going against Indiana. double machine night in and night out. I mean, he's basically in play almost every night that he does play. Jokic coming in at 8,500. Man, I don't know what's going on with Jokic. He's just not scoring the ball this year. But I mean, he's still doing all the other stuff. He's still filling up the stat sheet with assists, with with rebounds. Getting some defensive stats as well. And if he has a really good scoring game, I mean, that's just like the cherry on top. I think it gives you a decent floor. The price tag is down at 8,500. All you need is about 42 for value. We got it projected at 45. Going against Boston, it should be a very competitive game. Boston's a really good team. Denver's a really good team. Jokic, I like him. Probably a little bit more of a GPP play just because of the recent production. Then we'll go with where's he at? Oh, Jacob Podol for San Antonio. The guy's playing very well. I like him. Even more if Aldridge is out, he'll get a couple more minutes at the big guy spot. Either way, he's going to start. But with Aldridge out, I mean, the production, he's getting a couple extra rebounds, doing a little bit more. Going against a young Sacramento team that doesn't have a really good center, I think this is a spot that he can, he could thrive and have a pretty good game. 5,100, you need 25 for value. We do got it projected pretty low. That was the only thing that was kind of a nail biter for me. But, I mean, I think that we got our projections should bump up a little bit as the day goes on, especially if Aldridge is out. He does get a bump. So that's some news that we got to wait on. Pretty important piece of news. Lastly, GPP play, but I think we can look at a guy, Robert Williams for Boston. He's playing right around 20 minutes a game. At 3,700, I mean, all you need is 19 for value. He's a guy that fills up the stat sheet very quick. He can get you 25 on this price tag easily, which will get you about 6x, almost 7x, and we would be very happy with that. So I think that Robert Williams going against Denver. Denver has a couple really good bigs, and they're gonna have to. Boston's gonna have to play their big guys. They're not gonna be able to play small against Denver. That could be a couple more minutes for Robert Williams. I think he's a pretty good GPP play. So that's really where I'm at with this video. If you want a more in-depth analysis on today's slate, make sure to check out the site dfscheatsheet.com. And hey, good luck on your guys' contest. All right, peace out.